Hello there and welcome back. My name is Elena.
And I'm Fotios, and this is the Game Court.
And today we're going to do something that we have not done before because I was not a fan, but I think it's time to actually try it. Today we're going to do a top, which is going to be top 10 of the most anticipated games of 2023/4.
Yes, 2023, 2024. And these games have not been released yet, so our information is limited.
Just as much as everybody else's,
Yeah.
really.
So
But
we know some stuff from the Kickstarter page, we know some stuff from the BGG page as well, because not all of these games are Kickstarter games or
Yeah.
crowdfunding games.
But I think they sound super awesome, and we are very excited to talk about them with you and share our love.
Yes, correct. So let's give it a go.
Shall we... Hold on a minute. Give it a go?
Let's go then. Our number 10 is called Pioneer Rails and is a game designed by Jeffrey Allers and Matthew Dunstan. And by the way, Matthew Dunstan has also designed a game called Voyages, which is a print and play roll and write game. You only need 3 dice to play. It's such a good game. I really enjoy it solo, especially when I'm traveling by plane. It's a very nice game.
Oh, we'd normally take it on holiday with
Yes,
us
correct.
though. And if, by the way, if you want to see our travel games, there's a link in the description down below.
So Pioneer Rails is a game published by Dranda Games. I think it's a British-based company, Dranda Games, and it was on Kickstarter a couple of months ago. So I think it will be delivered maybe later this year or maybe early 2024. We'll see how it goes. So generally speaking, this Pioneer Rails is a paper and pencil game, and in particular it's flip and write. So you flip a card, which is basically standard playing cards, like a deck of cards.
Deck of cards, yeah.
But I think it's a bit slimmed down. So I think it's from 10 to ace or 9 to ace. So not all the deck. It's like a slimmed down deck, and you have a paper where you develop your network, and you also develop some poker hands, basically, if you wish, like a full house or 3 of a kind and stuff like that. You also pick up some contracts, so there is some line drawing, there is some network building, and all of this cool stuff. It can be played by multiple players, so basically it's one of these games that you can set up online easily and you can play with many,
a million
many players.
people, yeah.
Exactly. And the other cool thing, it has up to 4 maps, I think. 4 different maps.
Plenty of variability there.
Yes.
Cool.
So we love roll and writes usually.
And this is why you chose this
Yes,
one.
correct.
This one was your choice.
Correct. And we are really looking forward to have the physical version with us. One of the people from Dranda Games also shared with us the print and play files when we went to the UKG convention. So we're really looking forward to play it anyhow very soon. But it's something that we really anticipate for this year.
Number 9 on the list is Raising Robots, and this is a game that I was not particularly aware of until you actually showed me stuff, and it looked very childish, like in
yes.
art.
Art-wise,
it
yes.
looks very comical, very childish, very pretty, very pleasant, very warm, isn't it? But it doesn't sound particularly warm or pleasant or fuzzy in any way. So this is made by Brett Sobel and Seth Van Orden. By the way, Brett Sobel made Stockpile, which we played recently, which is a very fun game on the lighter side, I would say.
Yes.
On the lighter
It's
side,
a bit
I
of
would say.
bluffing, a bit of auction Stockpile
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. You know, a bit of luck here and there. Published by, I would say, Navu Games.
The Racing Robots.
Yes. Kickstarter was in spring 2023. Technically what you do is you compete with your rivals to make the best team of robots. So you technically build robots. It can play solo, it can play up to 6 people.
Yes, which is very cool actually, because not many games play up to 6 people.
And what can I tell you about this game? Oh, this game has a very interesting feature in the middle where, very similar to Wingspan, it has 3 engines in the middle that you have to work with in a probably similar fashion. You don't want to fall behind very much in one, and then you'll run them separately. And obviously, if you have one less, then it will not run very well. So I think that's one of the features that I really like about this game.
Yes, and it's also some variable powers in the game, some asymmetric powers in the game, because you have the different scientists. And by the way, they are cute young versions of real scientists, like
Yes.
the young Steve Hawking.
I'd say there's a
or-
Marie Curie in there
yeah,
as well
but
at some
Albert,
point.
the
Einstein,
young
yeah.
Albert Einstein,
They're all in there and they just have their first name, if anything, rather than their whole bunch.
and they give you some asymmetry as well.
Yes, which
Yes.
is very cute. It's a very, it feels like a very cute little game, but I think it has quite a punch behind it.
Yeah, it's a bit crunchy, so don't be confused by how cute it looks like. Our number 8 is called The White Castle, and it's a game designed by Isra C and Say S, the designers of Red Cathedral.
Yeah, if you don't understand what we're babbling about names, just look into Red Cathedral, whoever's actually made it, and these are the designers. By the way,
Yeah.
really sorry for all the names that we've botched in this video.
And well, we really like Red Cathedral,
Yes.
basically.
Red Cathedral is, I think we've mentioned it in a few of our games and in a few of our videos now.
And
It's awesome.
it's one of our best games, I would say, the Cathedral. I mean, it's a nice little package, but with nice punch. And I think this is what drives us also to like this game, the White Castle. So, by the way, Red Cathedral, White Castle. It seems to be a series of games that are happening. So, Red Cathedral was based in Russia. This is based in Japan, strongholds and stuff like that. Generally speaking, from our experience, not all Japanese themed games are very strong in the gameplay.
I mean, some are very good,
Some of them are very good.
but for whatever reason, you create this bias and you feel like, cat games are not very good. But Isle of
Yes,
Cats is
yeah.
nice, so it's kind of the same idea, isn't
I mean,
it?
yeah, I mean, it's the Japanese theme. I think it's overused in games.
Yeah.
And to the degree that many games with Japanese theme are not very good. But we have high hopes for this game because
It's only because of the designers
yes.
and Red Cathedral.
and the mechanics, like it's dice, it's economic, it's worker placement with dice, it's resource management. It sounds like the
It sounds like what we would like.
Exactly.
Yes. It sounds like
So-
we don't know whether it has the same rondelle style of
The dice, yeah.
of
Selecting
action
the dice.
selection as in Red Cathedral. I think everything gets quite scarce on the internet. It's quite hard to find very many details about what the game is. I mean, apart from the theme and what you actually do in the game, it's very hard to find many things about it, really.
And even when it comes to images, there's only the cover of the game. There are no images for this game whatsoever. There is no Kickstarter or crowdfunding as far as we understand. There might be a release in Essen later this year. That's our best guess. But we will see. That's the White Castle, number 8.
At number 7 is Pampero, which is a game that takes place in somewhere in South America, I want to say?
Uruguay.
Uruguay. Takes place in Uruguay. And what you do in this game is you build wind farms and you will try to expand your grid and become the most super duper energy guru
Yes.
person.
There's also another game with energy called Power Grid, by the way,
Yes.
which we haven't played. We'd really
Why
like to
did we
play.
not play this? Because it sounds so familiar every time we say Power Grid. Is it because it's 3?
Yes, I mean it plays well from 3 to 5. So usually we don't tend to buy games that by default don't play well with 2. But at some point, if we have the opportunity, we'd really like to try Power Grid as well.
Yes. So going back to Pampero,
Sorry, yeah.
Pampero is designed by Julian Pombo, which actually co-designed Mercado de Lisboa, which was quite a cool game. He actually works alongside Vital Lacerda a lot, from what I gather.
Yes.
So he is fairly well known around the market. Art is obviously by Ionotu.
Art is amazing in Pampero. It looks very pretty, very neat, very
Very Ionotu-ly.
clean, very clean. Yes.
If I may say. It's published by Ape Games and it was on Kickstarter in 2022. Plays up to 4 people. It can be played solo as well. It's technically textbook what we would like in a game, which is Industry manufacturing.
You do your wind farms.
you do your wind farms, you do your industry manufacturing, you build things, you expand things. This is what we technically like in the game. As main features, we'll have hand management, deck building, loans, income.
Yeah.
Technically what you normally do in an industry manufacturing game.
And a bit of action retrieval, like you play your hands, which by the way I think you buy cooler hands during the game, like a deck building, and then at some point you retrieve your hands, like Concordia style.
like Concordia.
Yes. Yeah,
A bit like Transatlantic.
Yes, correct. It sounds like a very good game, Pampero, and we're really looking forward to that.
Yes.
In number 6 we have Septima, And Septima is another Mind Class game. Our game of the month this month was the previous month. It was
Mind Clash game?
Yeah, Mind Clash Tricerion. Septima is something that will arrive in our post maybe in a couple of months or so.
Hopefully.
Well, yes. It's designed by Robin Hegedus, and we backed it up last year. It's again, the art of this game looks amazing, but also the theme looks very cool. With you have your witches, and you try to build your coven of witches to capture the attention of your town folks, to rise as the new Septima, which is the queen of the witches, or
Queen of the Witches,
the
with all
leader
your
of the
magic
witches. Yeah.
powers and everything.
The theme of the game is around fantasy and mythology and all of this stuff, but has a lot of cool things that we like variable player powers, like simultaneous action selection, in Feudum style, if you have played Feudum or you know how Feudum works, so a bit of hand management as well. And understand that there is this element of if we play both of us the same card, then it becomes stronger and so on and so forth, like Terraforming Mars
Kind
type
of action.
So yeah, it looks like a very cool game, very nice art, and
I feel like the theme, it sounds very attractive as well.
It does sound.
It sounds very attractive.
Yes.
Whatever, from what we can see, it looks very cool.
Yes, that's Septima.
Next on the list, which is number 5, which is, by the way, half of this, is Evacuation. It's a game made by Vladimir Suchi, which is very well known. Everybody likes him. We like him plenty. He is the designer of Woodcraft as well, Underwater Cities, yada yada, a lot of other games that we like and we have in our collection. Published by Delicious Games. Not on Kickstarter. I don't think it's his style particularly.
No, I don't think so. This one most likely will be released in Essen.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have any information, but we only presume that it's going to be released in Essen this year. Is 2023 this year?
Yeah.
Yes, this year. So what you technically do in this game is you are on your planet, and your planet is dying, and you need to evacuate ASAP because you're going to all die. The population is dying. So you try to move all your people, all the population, all the build, whatever you can, all the industries and all the buildings, whatever you can, evacuate as much as you can. So technically that's the idea of the game. It does play solo. It plays up to 4 people as well. It's a game that sounds very good. It's a designer that we like very much.
Yes,
so we
like
do have very high expectations from this game, and everything around it sounds very good. So it feels like a backwards economy game, doesn't it? Instead of building it, you're like taking it away from.
Yeah, destroying. Yes,
you're destroying it to take it away, kind of.
But
thing.
these are assumptions because we don't know many about this game.
Yeah, there's no rule book on the internet. There, apart from a few pictures, there's not much else apart from what we managed to gather and find. But it sounds like a very good game for what we like. It has some hand management elements in it. It has some, obviously, pickup delivery. I mean, we can only imagine how you'd use the pickup and delivery in this game in a Vladimir Suchi style, right?
Population, yes.
It has some territory building, some racing. There is apparently a racing element in it as well.
Maybe end of like a trigger for end of game condition.
Like whomever
maybe,
moves fastest.
Yeah.
Right, I could only imagine. I don't know, but it sounds very juicy, and I'm really looking forward to enjoy it, to try it.
In number 4, we have the Scholars of the South Tigris, and this is a game designed by Sam Phillips and Sam McDonald, and is of the South Tigris trilogy of Garfield Games. So that's the 3rd trilogy in a row. First was the North Sea, from which we have kept only the Raiders of the North Sea.
Yeah.
Then was the 2nd trilogy, which is the West Kingdom.
We have the Viscounts and the Paladins.
Correct.
Well, I can see it because it's literally just in front of me.
It's over there. We have played Architects, but we didn't feel that
we didn't keep it in our
exactly.
collection.
And this is the 3rd trilogy in a row. So Scholars is the 2nd game of the 3rd trilogy. And you can anticipate.
What was the first one? Was it Wayfarers?
Wayfarers,
Wayfarers.
Yes, of the South.
We played that one. We had it as well.
And you can anticipate all the same iconography across all games,
which makes
all
it
similar.
So much easier, doesn't it?
And the art by Miko, the same designer, art by Miko. This was on Kickstarter earlier this year, and it plays up to 4 players. It can be played solo, like most of these games by these 2 guys can be played solo. And basically in this game, what you do, you gather scrolls, which you try to translate, and so on and so forth. And the theme of the game is a bit Arabian, a bit medieval, and so on and so forth. And you have worker placement, a lot of worker placement with dice. and you have basic dice, basic color. You have white, and you have the basic color like red, yellow, and blue. And then you can mix them, and you make more cool dice, more powerful dice. Like you can mix red with blue to create a purple, and so on and so forth. It sounds very interesting. Mechanically, also it sounds very cool with the worker placement, and always these guys have a few innovations to show. There are the usual stuff there: tech tracts, rondel, a bit of hand management,
which you would expect in these kind of games.
Yes, correct. But
there's always a townfolk to help you somewhere.
But I don't think these guys can produce a bad game. I mean, we're only talking about a good game, or a very good game, or an excellent game, kind of. So that's why we have a high anticipation for this particular game.
At number 3, we have Inventions, Evolutions of Ideas, which is apparently already a very well-known game around the community. Designed by Vital Lacerda, obviously, and his friend Ian O'Toole, obviously.
By Ian O'Toole, yes. It's a very heavy, complex game.
I mean, we don't know that, but we expect that a Vital Lacerda game will be very, very heavy in a Vital Lacerda way, which is a very unique way. But apparently, from what we've gathered, it's a very heavy Vital Lacerda game, which I can only presume is going to be very fiddly and very heavy. But it's our top 3, so that should probably say enough, right?
Like you activate an action and you do a myriad of things around that action.
Of a list with 10 points.
Yes.
By the time you actually even move your pawn somewhere.
At some point I read somewhere on internet that Inventions is a combination of Weather Machine with Teletum.
Really?
Yes, like how the combinations work.
Really?
Yes.
Well, we like these games, both of them.
Exactly.
It sounds very, very good.
Very appealing.
It sounds very appealing, doesn't it? So technically, I think the theme around Inventions is kind of split in 2, where you have the idea to begin with, and after you have the idea, you build the invention of what you actually need from where the idea started, kind of thing. I think, again, I've not played the game. I don't know very much about it, I'm afraid. But I think it sounds pretty good as an idea. I think it's a bit easier to maybe digest, for me particularly, compared to, let's say, Weather Machine, where it's a bit more abstract, where it doesn't exist.
Weather Machine is a bit of science fiction.
Science fiction, yes.
That's it. Whereas this one is a bit more grounded to reality,
Correct.
I would say.
Yes. So for me, it might make a bit more sense than science fiction, really. What did I not say? On Kickstarter this year, and apparently it's not very long left for you guys to go for it, so
it depends when we publish this video.
Yeah, go for it if you can. It's going to be released in 2024, published by Ego Griffin Games, which is the usual. It's a technically industry manufacturing game. I'm not even sure what else to say apart from,
worker placement as well.
Yes.
As with Weather Machine, as with Kanban, so you go to an action and basically do that action.
Yeah, as in
like Vinhos as well.
We just probably have to wait and see how it's going to be in play, because all Vital Lacerda games are very different in between, but they all have the same basis, don't they? So.
But by default, we're attracted by these heavy, complex industry manufacturing games. So here it is. In number 2, we have Smoky Valley, and technically this game has already been published. The first edition, at least, of this game has been published, but our anticipated game here refers to the second edition of the game.
It's a bit more mainstream, maybe?
I don't know, there are some changes. I mean, we haven't played the first edition anyway. It's a quite hard game to find because it's published by Spielworks, which they do this one-off, so they do a bunch, and if you get it, you get it. If you don't,
you don't.
You just missed out. It's designed by. You say the name. I don't know.
Claude Sirard.
Claude Sirard. There you are. And yes, and I think the anticipation was for the second edition to be released this summer, 2023. We don't know exactly which date. And it's basically the theme that we really enjoy. It's again around industry manufacturing, 18th century or something like that. Dark coal and all of this. Economy and income and route building.
But for whatever reason, built in Canada this time?
Built in Canada, in Griffintown, yes. And market, investments, loans, income, all of this cool stuff that you have over there in the games.
I think it has a little bit of everything, a bit like Carnegie, where you you build your industries and everything else, but you help the town folks and you help
Yes.
around the surrounding area as well.
A bit of a city building as
Yeah,
well.
you develop
yes.
your city as
Yeah.
well. So it's a little bit of everything, really.
So yes, I'm really looking forward to this game. I think it will fit us very well, our kind of style,
I'm
our
sure it's
kind
going
of
to be
games.
amazing.
Yes, it's only 2 to 4. Apparently, doesn't play solo. Again, one of the very complex, heavy games, above 4 complexity. Again, like most of the games I've discussed in this video, not all of them, but most of the games. And that's Smoky Valley, our number 2.
And finally, at number 1, which is the most expected game, and I am super excited about this game.
too.
It
It's
sounds
our
like
common, yeah.
such an amazing
Yeah.
game, and the theme is so amazing, and the art is incredible. I really wish you could go and search on the. Let me put my coffee down as well because I'm getting a bit passionate about this.
Okay, relax. It's just a game.
Okay, now that I told you, this is an amazing game that I really wish you could go and look at. Even if you don't feel like you like the theme particularly, at least go and have a look at the art. This looks very amazing. Right, so for the first...
What is the game then?
For the first... what's the word? What am I looking for?
For
First
number
place?
1? First place?
For the first place, we have Unconscious Minds. And Unconscious Minds is a game produced by Fantasia Games, which is apparently a Greek company?
Yes.
Cypriot company and Greek company.
Cypriot and Greek company, yes.
Yes. So Fantasia game, designed by Lascath, Johnny Pack, Yoma, and Antonio Zax. It's been on Kickstarter in 2020. It was on Kickstarter in 2022, and hopefully be released this year by the end of the year.
I doubt. Most likely it's going to be pushed to 2024, but we hope for the best, right? We hope for.
I mean, you know. So what the game entails is you are Sigmund Freud's followers, and you have there's a group of you guys, and what you try to do is you try to dive into people's unconscious minds through dreams.
So you're psychologists,
So
basically.
you're using psychoanalysis to see what your patients are actually doing. Your clients are called clients, not patients.
Clients, yes.
Clients are actually doing and what's actually the problem and stuff like that. There's an expansion to this called Nightmares,
Yeah.
which I think is so incredibly amazing.
The cards are so surreal, right?
Really, like honestly, if you look at the art, it looks like they're taken out of a dream, and it's so surreal. They look so amazingly realistic, don't they?
I remember at some point when we were looking at the Kickstarter page, and I was showing Elena the Kickstarter page, and I'm like, I'm going to back this game. And then I was like, this dream card, I've seen a similar dream.
It looks like I've dreamt that before. Like it's so surreal. It's so whomever the design
Artist, yes.
artist is top notch. Absolutely incredible. Well caught.
Mechanically, the game has worker placement, has run tell, has some programmed movement, some open drafting as well, and some apparently melding and splaying, like a small game called Innovation.
Yes, if you've not tried the Innovation, give it a try because the melding and the splaying is from them, isn't it?
Yes, exactly.
Cool game.
So yeah, I mean, I'm really looking forward to Unconscious Mind as well. It looks like
It looks so good, doesn't it? Weight-wise, do you know what the weight of the game is? I think it's not the heaviest game we've mentioned today.
I don't think it's the heaviest game. I think it's something between 3 and 3.5. But you know, the complexity rating on newest games are not the most accurate because not many people have played
them. Yes.
So it's only based on a few votes. So I think it's not towards the more like towards 4. I think it's more towards 3.5. I would say. But yeah, I mean, we went obviously for the all-in pledge, like all the play mats and all the upgraded packs and the resin stuff and the resin minis.
And they have little bottles as well.
Yes, the transparent bottles, yes. It looks pretty amazing, the game, and well done to the company and the designers that have made this game.
Right, guys, so this was our top 10 of the most anticipated games, either on Kickstarter or not, 2023, 2024, 2020.
Whenever they hope
they
to
will
be
arrive.
published or released, yes.
I hope you enjoyed our top.
Thank you so much for watching.
See you later.
Bye.